Hello, my dear students. Welcome you all to Sri Jain Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be taking the zoology part, that is animal science. My dear students, today we are going to start with the blood supply of pituitary gland and the hypophyseal hypothalamic stalk system. The blood supply to the pituitary or hypophyseal portal system is basically conducted by portal vein, superior hypothalamic artery, a pair of posterior hypophyseal arteries and a pair of anterior hypophyseal arteries provide blood to the pituitary gland. Posterior arteries supply blood to the pars nervosa, and the anterior arteries supply blood to the hypothalamus and the pars distalis. As we have already discussed about the different parts of adenohypophysis and neurohypophysis, a pair of posterior hypophyseal arteries and a pair of anterior hypophyseal arteries provide blood to the pituitary gland. Posterior arteries supply to the pars nervosa part, that is neurohypophysis, and the anterior arteries supply blood to the hypothalamus and pars distalis. Adenohypophysis had dual blood supply by means of circle of Willis. The anterior hypophyseal artery, which brings blood into this circle bit, ureates into two branches. It basically divides into two branches outside the lobe. One branch supplies to the adenohypophysis and the other supplies to the hypothalamus. The vein that drain the blood from hypothalamus then run into the pars distalis part through pars tuberculis and divide into capillaries. Those veins are therefore called portal hypophyseal veins. These constitute a hypothalamic hypophyseal stalk system or portal system. Hypothalamic hormone reach anterior pituitary by portal system. So there are around a pair of posterior arteries and a pair of anterior arteries. Posterior arteries supply pars nervosa, anterior arteries supply hypothalamus and pars distalis. Adenohypophysis had dual blood supply by means of circle of Willis. The anterior hypophyseal artery reaches to the circle of Willis and divides into two branches. One of the branch supplies to the adenohypophysis and other supplies to hypothalamus. The vein that drain the blood from hypothalamus run into pars distalis through pars tuberculis and divide into capillaries. Those veins are therefore called portal hypophyseal veins. These constitute a hypothalamic hypophyseal portal system. Hypothalamic hormones reach anterior pituitary by these portal system. Hormones of adenohypophysis. So basically we have paraventricle nucleus and supraoptic nucleus for neurohypophysis. Okay, the anterior pituitary, it basically secretes thyroid stimulating hormone, prolactin hormone, growth hormone, gonadotropins, adrenocorticotropic hormone, melanocyte stimulating hormone, then antidiuretic hormone is secreted by the posterior lobe of the pituitary, and the oxytocin. So there is an infundibulum part which basically connects the hypothalamus to the pituitary, which is supplied by the portal system. Gonadotropins are of two types: interstitial cell stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. Interstitial cell stimulating hormone basically activate the interstitial cells of testis to secrete testosterone, and LH and FSH, they basically initiates or stimulates ovary to secrete estrogen and progesterone. Okay, hormones of adenohypophysis. Adenohypophysis secretes seven hormones which are proteinaceous in nature. These hormones are controlled by controlling factors secreted by the hypothalamus. There are nine main controlling factors, out of which seven are releasing factors, mean stimulating factors, and three are inhibiting factors. Complete failure of adenohypophysis, that is anterior pituitary, leads to Simon syndrome. Simon syndrome. Complete failure of adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary leads to Simon syndrome. Hormones that influence other endocrine gland are called tropic or tropin hormones. They are known as tropic or tropin hormones. The follicle stimulating hormone or luteinizing hormone regulate testes and ovaries. Thyrotropin stimulate thyroid, whereas corticotropin act on cortex of adrenal gland. Adrenal cortex. Somatotropin or growth hormone. Functions of growth hormone. Molecules of this hormone are polypeptides of 191 amino acids, monomers. So, molecules of this hormone are polypeptides made up of 191 chain of 191 amino acid monomers. It is the major hormone in the secretion of anterior pituitary somatotropin or growth hormone. It is the most important stimulant of proper normal growth of the body. It promotes biosynthesis of DNA, RNA, and proteins in all the body cells. Thus, it acts as an anabolic growth factor. Anabolic growth factor. Obviously, it stimulates cellular growth and proliferation, growth and repair of bones, muscles, and connective tissues. So, somatotropin or growth hormone, it promotes biosynthesis of DNA, RNA, and proteins in all body cells. Thus, it acts as an anabolic growth factor. It also stimulates the cellular growth and proliferation, repair and regeneration of bones, muscles, and connective tissues. In the liver cells, the growth hormone promotes glycogenesis, deamination, and gluconeogenesis. Formation of glucose from proteins, amino acids. Deamination is the process of removal of NH2 group, and glyconeogenesis is formation of glycogen. According to modern scientists, the anabolic effects of the growth hormone in man are indirect instead of being direct. This hormone triggers synthesis of certain special insulin-like growth factors in cells of many tissues such as liver, muscles, cartilage, and bones. These growth factors are called somatomedians. They are known as what? Somatomedians. Control of the secretion of growth hormone. Secretion of growth hormone is controlled by two hormonal factors secreted by the cells of hypothalamus. One of these factors is growth hormone releasing hormone, promotes the secretion of growth hormone, while the other is growth hormone inhibitory hormone or somatostatin, which retards the secretion of growth hormone by anterior pituitary. GHRH is called somatocrinin and GHIH is called somatostatin. Somatocrinin is the growth hormone releasing hormone secreted by hypothalamus, and GHIH growth hormone inhibitory hormone is the somatostatin, which is secreted by hypothalamus. And somatotropin is released by the anterior lobe of the pituitary. Effects of hypersecretion of growth hormone. What will happen when the growth hormone or somatotropin is released in higher amounts? Proportionate gigantism. Hypersecretion or oversecretion of growth hormone during growth period, during active growth period. Childhood and adolescence excess causes excessive growth, that is hypergrowth of all body parts resulting into a symmetrical giant body. This is called proportionate gigantism. One is the proportionate gigantism, which basically indicates or which basically results because of the hypersecretion or oversecretion of growth hormone during active growth period, especially childhood and adolescence. This causes excessive growth or hypergrowth of all the body parts, resulting into a symmetrical giant body. This is called proportionate gigantism. Then second is disproportionate gigantism or acromegaly. The concerned person may attain a height of 8 feet or even more. Oversecretion of growth hormone after growth period causes gigantism, but in this the long bones do not grow in length due to the closing or the closure of epiphyseal plates at their ends. But the bones of the hands, feet, and lower jaw and rib cage thickens because of the deposition or calcification at the joints. So proportionate gigantism, it basically happens before the closure of epiphyseal plates, and disproportionate gigantism or acromegaly, it happens after the closure of epiphyseal plates. Hyposecretion. Hyposecretion of growth hormone may leads to nanism or ateliosis. Hyposecretion or undersecretion of growth hormone in childhood results into the blunted growth or retarded growth. Sorry. Growth of all organs is retarded. Growth of bones at their epiphyseal end stops as the bones do not grow in length so that the body remains dwarf, short stature. The pituitary dwarfism is called nanism or ateliosis. Midgets. Midgets, unlike the thyroid, cretinism, the development of brain is normal in pituitary dwarfs, but like the thyroid cretinism, the pituitary dwarfs are also infertile. The dwarfs of circuses are pituitary dwarfs, and these are called midgets. Midgets, unlike the thyroid cretinism, it is not like thyroid cretinism. The development of brain is normal in pituitary dwarfs when there is no mental retardation. But the pituitary dwarfs are also infertile. The dwarfs of circus are pituitary dwarfs, and these are called midgets. Pituitary myxedema, under secretion of growth hormone during adolescence between 13 to 22 years of age restricts body height so that the person remains short statured. Under secretion of growth period about the age of 22 causes pituitary myxedema, whose symptoms are almost similar to thyroid myxedema. These include old age symptoms such as reduced basal metabolic rate and protein synthesis, graying and falling of hair, pallor and dryness of skin, reduced blood pressure, low body temperature, insomnia, weakness of muscles, vision, and wisdom. Due to the accumulation of mucus under the skin, the body becomes puffy but weak. Genitalia weakens, causing sexual disability, hence a person becomes disheartened. Simultaneously, eyelids, lips, tongue, nose, chin also enlarge. Soles, palms, forehead becomes wrinkled. Skin thickens and become wrinkled. Skin thickens and become coarse and fluffy. Hirsutism. Consequently, the body becomes ugly like gorilla. This is called disproportionate gigantism or acromegaly. It is common in men and rare in women. Kyphosis. In some cases, the backbone bends and thickens, causes humpback condition. Kyphosis. Breast enlarge and mammary gland may yield milk. The patients often complain of headache, sexual disorders, muscular pain, and impaired vision and memory. Hypersecretion of growth hormone raises blood glucose level, hyperglycemia, which may cause diabetes mellitus. Ketosis. Increased breakdown of fat may release ketone bodies, mainly acetoacetic acid, in blood, causing ketosis. So kyphosis is basically bending of backbone forwards and thickens, causes humpback condition. Kyphosis, breast enlarge and mammary glands yield milk. The patient often complains of headache, sexual disorders, muscular pain, and impaired vision memory. Hypersecretion of growth hormone raises blood glucose level, that is hyperglycemia, which may cause diabetes mellitus. Ketosis, increased breakdown of fat, increase the amount of uh, acetoacetic acid and beta ketoesters in blood, causing ketosis. Prolactin. Prolactin PRL is a lactogenic hormone, also known as leukotropic hormone, also known as mammotrophic hormone. It is secreted by the lactotroph cells of anterior pituitary. The molecules are polypeptides and they are a chain of 198 amino acids monomers. Its secretion by anterior pituitary is enhanced by prolactin releasing hormone or PRH and suppressed by prolactin inhibitory hormone of hypothalamus. PIH is also called dopamine because dopamine is antagonistic to prolactin. In humans, it may act as a mild growth hormone, but its main physiological effect is to activate growth of breast during pregnancy and secretion of milk by mammary glands after childbirth. That is why often referred to as maternity hormone. In some other mammals, probably in women also, it stimulates corpus luteum of ovaries to continue secreting progesterone. In some other mammals and probably in women also, it stimulates corpus luteum of ovaries to continue secreting progesterone hormone during pregnancy. Prolactin levels rises during pregnancy due to PRH of hypothalamus. Hypersecretion. Prolactin hormone is secreted by both males and females. In males, it influences sexual behavior. Its hypersecretion may hinder menstruation, may causes impotency if hypersecreted. In pigeons and doves, it stimulates the epithelial cells of crop glands in both males and females to secrete pigeon milk for nutrition of newly hatched infants. So hypersecretion, prolactin hormone is secreted both by males and females. In males, it influences sexual behavior. Its hypersecretion may hinder menstruation. In females, may causes impotency. In hypersecretion in pigeons and doves, if it is secreted in hypersecretory amount, then it causes to secrete pigeon milk by both males and females for nutrition of newly hatched infants. Follicle stimulating hormone or gametokinetic factor. It is a glycoprotein whose molecule consists of polypeptide of 204 amino acid residues. It is a glycoprotein. It stimulates growth of seminiferous tubules and spermatogenesis in men and growth of ovarian follicles and oogenesis in women. It stimulates growth of seminiferous tubules and spermatogenesis in men and growth of ovarian follicles and oogenesis in women. In women, it also stimulates the secretion of female sex hormones, estrogens, by the cells of ovarian follicles. Under the negative feedback regulation, the principal male testosterone and female estradiol hormones retard secretion of follicle stimulating hormone. So, follicle stimulating hormone is basically it come across the negative feedback because of the secretion or because of already attainment of optimum concentration of estrogen in case of females and testosterone in case of males. In women, effect of FSH on ovaries considerably decrease after the age of 40. Consequently, oogenesis, secretion of estrogen and menstruation decline and ultimately stop. Termination of menstruation is called menopause. Growth hormone, gonadotropin releasing hormone from hypothalamus stimulates FSH release. There is no gonadotropin inhibiting hormone. There is no inhibiting hormone of gonadotropins. So follicle stimulating hormone, also known as gametokinetic factors, as they help to make the gametes both in males and females, as it stimulates the seminiferous tubules and spermatogenesis in males and growth of ovarian follicles and oogenesis in females. Luteinizing hormone or interstitial cells stimulating hormone. This is also a glycoprotein whose molecules contain a polypeptide of 204 amino acid residues. The growth and function of interstitial cells of testis, cells of Leydig, which secrete male hormones, androgens, to regulate the development of secondary sexual characters. Out of androgens, testosterone is one of the most important androgens secreted in women. It stimulates the last stages of oogenesis, ovulation, developments of corpus luteum, and secretion of progesterone by corpus luteum is done by the action of luteinizing hormone. Secretion of luteinizing hormone, like that of follicle stimulating hormone, is controlled by gonadotropin releasing hormone. This is also a glycoprotein and made up of 204 amino acid residues. In men, it stimulates the growth and function of interstitial cells of testis to secrete androgens, and one of the most important androgens is testosterone. In women, it stimulates the last stages of oogenesis, ovulation, development of corpus luteum, and secretion of progesterone by corpus luteum. Secretion of luteinizing hormone, like that of follicle stimulating hormone, is controlled by gonadotropin releasing hormone. Both FSH and RH are secreted by gonadotrophs cells of anterior pituitary. Since both of these stimulates growth and activities of gonads, these are called gonadotropic hormones. They also activates the accessory genital organs. Secretion of these hormones begin only 2 or 3 years before puberty. Age of sexual maturity is 12 to 14 years. Obviously, their secretion is initiated by a genetical biological clock located in hypothalamus. Further, the secretion of follicle stimulating hormone in women are also regulated by a clock located in hypothalamus. Further, the secretion of FSH in women Yeah, under the regulation of both of these clocks, the gonadotropin releasing hormone is secreted by hypothalamus and influence the activities of pituitary gonadotropic cells. Synthetic hormones of this category and their antagonists are now used to respectively activate or retard the activities of gonads. Adrenocorticotropic hormone or ACTH. It is secreted by corticotroph cells of anterior pituitary. Its molecules are 39 amino acid polypeptide. So they are polypeptides. ICH or LH, FSH, they are glycoproteins. And adrenocorticotropic hormone ACTH is a polypeptide made up of 39 amino acids. Its secretion is prompted by corticotropin releasing hormone of hypothalamus (CRH). Its role is to intensify the synthesis of adrenal cortical hormones, hormones of adrenal cortex, particularly the glucocorticoids. Secretion of ACTH is stimulated by low blood glucose levels, shock conditions, and presence of compound called interleukin 1, secreted by macrophages. Under a direct negative feedback regulation, the concentration of glucocorticoids in blood affect the secretion of both ACTH and CRH. Hyposecretion of ACTH leads to rheumatic arthritis. Thyrotropin hormone or thyroid stimulating hormone, it is a glycoprotein secreted by thyrotropic cells of anterior pituitary. The polypeptide of its molecule is 201 amino acid long. Its secretion is stimulated by hypothalamic thyrotropin releasing hormone. It promotes growth and function of thyroid gland. Under the negative feedback regulation, the secretion rate of hypothalamic TRS depends upon blood levels of TSH, thyroxine, and glucose and metabolic rates of the body cells. There is no thyrotropin inhibiting hormone. Melanocyte stimulating hormone or melanotropin. It was commonly called intermediate secreted by pars intermedia. This may be the condition of other vertebrates, but in humans it is secreted by remnant cells of this lobe, which become a part of pars distalis. Its molecule is a small peptide of 13 amino acid residues. Its secretion is controlled by hypothalamic hormones, melanocyte releasing hormone, and melanocyte inhibiting hormone. Possibly oxytocin is melanocyte inhibiting hormone by posterior pituitary of both mother and fetus. At actual melanocyte inhibiting hormone. In lower vertebrates, the target cells of this hormone are the melanophores. Melanin is antagonistic to melanocyte stimulating hormone, affects spreading the melanin granules in these cells so that skin color darkens. In fish and amphibian button birds and mammals, the role of FSH is uncertain. In man, presence of MSH receptor in brain suggests it may influence the brain activity. Metabolic hormones. It influences the carbohydrate and fat metabolism of body. The hormone which influences carbohydrate metabolism is called diabetogenic hormone. This hormone which influences fat metabolism is ketogenic hormone. Hormones of neurohypophysis and their functions. So diabetogenic and ketogenic. The herring bodies of neurohypophysis contain two hormones, vasopressin and oxytocin, which are released from axonal terminals of exocyte by the process of exocytosis and diffuse into adjacent blood capillaries when needed. These are secreted by paraventricular nucleus and supraoptic nucleus respectively. Paraventricular nucleus secretes vasopressin and supraoptic nucleus secretes oxytocin. Both vasopressin and oxytocin, they are proteinaceous in nature. Vasopressin. The principal role of this hormone is to promote absorption of water from the distal convoluted tubules of nephrons and collecting ducts during excretion of water in urine, that is diuresis. That is why it is called antidiuretic hormone. Its release in blood is controlled by osmoregulatory center located in the hypothalamus. There is a osmoregulatory center which is located in the hypothalamus which basically controls the secretions of antidiuretic hormone. Another effect of vasopressin is to increase blood pressure by contracting blood vessels, vasoconstriction in several tissues, hence the name vasopressin. Effects of vasopressin. Vasoconstriction of blood vessels of skin by this hormone retards the secretion of sweat glands. It also stimulates contraction of intestinal smooth muscles. When vasopressin is released in excessive amounts, the urine becomes concentrated and blood is diluted, increasing blood pressure. The osmoregulatory center then tissue motor impulses to check release of vasopressin. When vasopressin released in smaller amounts, diuresis increases, urine becomes diluted and blood becomes concentrate. Amount diuresis increases and urine becomes diluted and blood becomes concentrated, decreasing the blood pressure. In acute diuresis, the quantity of urine may increase to about 20 liters instead of normal 1 to 2 liters per day. This condition is called polyuria or diabetes insipidus because of the hyposecretion of vasopressin. Passage of water, tasteless urine, passing of water and tasteless urine. It causes dehydration of body and thirst. Oxytocin is childbirth hormone. This hormone stimulates the contraction of uterine muscles, inducing labor pains for childbirth, parturition, and secretion of progesterone hormone from the placenta declines, making the end of pregnancy. This hormone stimulates the contraction of uterine muscles for the easy passage of the baby, inducing labor pains for childbirth. When secretion of progesterone hormone declines, this hormone reaches to its maximum level, making the end of the pregnancy. As the sensory impulse of increasing labor pain reaches hypothalamus, more and more oxytocin is released from the posterior pituitary lobe under the positive feedback regulation of the childbirth. It dilates the cervix, that is known as what vaginal stretching. After childbirth, it helps in normalization of the uterus and contracts the breast muscles and lactic ducts to facilitate release of milk. That is why it is also known as what milk ejecting hormone, lactation. During sucking, oxytocin stimulates milk ejection so has galactogenic effect. Galactogenic effect, also known as so vasopressin helps in ant- antidiuresis and oxytocin milk ejecting hormone. So this is all about the secretions of anterior lobe of the pituitary, adenohypophysis, okay, and then hormones of neurohypophysis. All the hormones secreted by anterior lobe of the pituitary and posterior lobe of pituitary, they are under the control of the hypothalamus, especially the neurohypophysis. Their secretions are basically synthesized in neurohypophysis or the neurosecretory cells of paraventricular nucleus and supraoptic nucleus, while the secretions of anterior lobe of the pituitary they are synthesized in the adenohypophysis only. Okay, so the secretions of neurohypophysis they just store for a while in posterior lobe of the pituitary and then secreted into the blood. Okay, so all the hormones I just make you a list again. So secrete starting from the thyroid stimulating hormone which stimulate the thyroid gland to secrete thyroxine, then prolactin hormone, then gonadotropin hormone, then then growth hormone, then ICCH which is a part of gonadotropin, interstitial cell stimulating hormone or follicle stimulating or luteinizing hormone, and the other one is follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, then adrenocorticotropic hormone, then melanocyte stimulating hormone, then oxytocin and ADH, antidiuretic hormone. So I will be talking about the thyroid gland and the other glands in the next lecture. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Stay safe. Stay healthy.